My name is Jung-Lynn Jonathan Yang, and I am the sole creator and sole copyright holder of this graphic that summarizes when the second derivative test fails. This graphic is made for my own personal use, and it is my original work. The second derivative can fail when the second derivative test fails when both the first derivative and the second derivative are equal to 0 at a particular point of interest, in which case we're not able to tell whether this point is a maximum, minimum, or it's neither of those. It's not an extremum. Looking at the top row, the first derivative tells us that it's not an extremum because the first derivative does not change signs from positive to negative or negative to positive. The second derivative does change sign. What this means is that this point is an inflection point, but it's not an extreme point. It's not a minimum or a maximum. On the lower row, these graphs, or I marked those points, they're really flat, in which case the first derivative is equal to 0 and the second derivative is also equal to 0. The first derivative being equal to 0 kind of makes sense because at a max or min, we expect the curve to have a horizontal tangent line. Horizontal tangent lines have a slope of 0. But for the second derivative, the second derivative is also equal to 0 at that max or min point because the graph is just really flat. There's no curvature. And the second derivative is a measure of the curvature on the graph at a point. The second derivative does not change signs, so it's not an inflection point like the two graphs above. It doesn't really matter anyways. What matters is that the first derivative does change signs from positive to negative, indicating a maximum, or negative to positive, indicating a minimum.